Wade Wilson.
Wade Wilson.
Wade f***ing Wilson.
Language.
This Marvel anti-hero has many names, and his dark humor and tendency towards violence has made Deadpool popular even among those who've never held a comic book. But even hardcore fans who've seen the movie a few dozen times might not know the real name of the Merc with the mouth. I've followed Deadpool for over a decade, and like it is often the case with comic books, one character can have 2, 3, or even 5 origin stories. You know who I'm talking about. That's right, the Joker. He's been a gangster, a stand-up comedian, an assassin, and whatever the hell that was. Point is, instead of whining and blaming writers who often don't give a crap about the work of their predecessors, we will focus on one classic story from Deadpool's past. For that, we'll have to go back a few years. No, not that far. I'm talking about Deadpool Volume 1, written by the talented Joe Kelly. Back in the day, Deadpool used to spend a lot of time in a mercenary hangout called Hell House, a place that was sort of seen in the movie under a different name. In the same hangout, we meet another mercenary called T-Ray. T-Ray? I'll call him T-Ray. A huge muscular albino with magical powers and a band-aid in the middle of his face, who for some reason really hates Deadpool. Eventually, verbal confrontations and insults turn into a full-out fight, a fight that T-Ray wins using his dark magic. Back in those days, Deadpool's mental issues are worse than ever. He starts hallucinating and his mind is tortured by memories of a mysterious woman called Mercedes. Deadpool later meets this woman during one of his assignments, and we learn that Mercedes is actually Wade Wilson's wife, who tragically died many years ago by the hand of a man named Jack. A dirtbag mercenary the Wilsons couple rescued from certain death. Any ideas on who this Jack character might be?
Avenge me! No!
But before getting to the vengeance part and killing T-Ray, there are a few questions that need to be answered first. Like, how come Mercedes is still alive? And why can't Deadpool remember any details of their mutual past? These questions are answered by T-Ray himself during the final confrontation with Deadpool. Using his magic powers, T-Ray resurrects Mercedes in order to refresh Deadpool's memories. And it turns out that the mercenary Jack that was rescued by the Wilsons many years ago fell in love with the kind woman who saved his life. So he decided to kill her husband Wade to try and take his place. But instead, he accidentally mortally wounds Mercedes, who comes to her husband's rescue. Once Jack sees that he's killed the woman he loves, he loses his mind. Unable to cope with the truth, his brain creates a new reality, a reality in which he is no longer the killer. He is not even Jack. Now he is the victim. He is the husband of the poor woman who died that night. He is Wade Wilson. In the meantime, the real Wade Wilson survives the attack. After the death of his wife, he moves to Japan, learns magic, takes the name T-Ray, and swears to make Deadpool pay for killing his wife. So he comes up with the plan to resurrect Mercedes to torture Deadpool. And for a moment, T-Ray actually succeeds and breaks Deadpool. But ultimately, his plan backfires. For one, Mercedes, who now also has magic powers, is not happy that her own husband brought her back from the dead just to screw with her killer. T-Ray's other miscalculation is Deadpool. Approximately 30 seconds into his mental breakdown, Deadpool realizes that he doesn't really care who is the real Wade Wilson. What's important is that he is actually trying to be a better person, unlike T-Ray, who is fixated on hatred and vengeance. Deadpool snaps out of his broken state, teams up with Mercedes, and together they beat the crap out of T-Ray. Defeated and humiliated, T-Ray gives up the name Wade Wilson, saying that this is the name of a loser. Then he and Mercedes teleport out of the battlefield. Of course, the story doesn't end there. Deadpool and T-Ray will clash on many more occasions, and the dispute about the name will become a running gag between the two. Which one is the real Wade Wilson? Nobody knows for sure, but if you ask Deadpool himself, it entirely depends on who's writing the story. If you're familiar with the story and feel that I've left out some important details, feel free to tell me about it in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about your favorite characters. This was Sam for FatGeekProduction. Peace.